Warm greetings to 100% here. Let me introduce about myself. My name is Mr. A. Jasmine Antoniraj, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Artificial Intelligence and Data Science. Today in this session, we are going to see about the topic briefing the problem, the in design thinking from the subject design thinking. Yes, so what is meant by briefing the problem? It is nothing but how and what are the problem, what are the faculty facilities are that are unable to have the problem, how we can able to clearly define and what are the problem we can able to face from a particular incident. So take for example, so if you want to know about an design thinking, it is defined as an user-centered problem-solving approach. So here, if we are taking a problem, so it will be considered from the many of the users, those who are having a same type of a problem. So by having and analyzing the problem, we can able to give the solutions or an approaches widely where we can able to use in an innovations and product development. So here we can able to use this in design thinking concepts in doing an innovation process or for a product development. So while it was very useful, the process is not without a challenges. So since we are taking this as a innovation process, we cannot able to tell that and we are not facing any challenges. So here also we can able to have a number of challenges. So let us briefly overview the common problems encountered in a design thinking. So here also we can able to have a n number of a problem when we are going to give a solutions for a particular issues. Next, so let us see the first criteria, that is a poor problem framing. So suppose if we are having an information, so if we are working with the team, so we need to do a ideations. So if you want to do the ideation process, first we need to have a clear definitions of a real problem. So suppose if you're having a large number of people are affected from a particular problem, so first without defining the real problem, so what is the real problem which the user is getting affected, so without knowing that we cannot able to give the proper solutions. So for that, if you want to know about an impact, so it is leads to solving the wrong problem or missing the core user needs. So suppose without understanding the user problem, if you are giving a solution, so it may leads to a wrong problem. So we can able to identify without having a clear solutions or a real solutions, it may be misleads to some other problems or a misunderstanding. So that might be missing the core user needs. So here, so for the users only we are going to give the solutions. So we might be giving a wrong solutions of misunderstanding as what is the real problem is. So for this we can able to give the solutions by spending an adequate time in an emphasize and a define stage. So here we already know that design thinking has a 5 different stages. So first and second one is an important stages, that is an emphasize and a define stages. So here emphasize means analyzing the problem in the situations of a user. So we need to travel in their shoes and we can able to identify the what are the problem they are getting affected. Next one, after analyzing all the informations and the situations of the problem of the user, we can able to define. So what is this is the problem, and this is what we can able to have a problem in their situation. So we need to give a solutions for this particular problem. So for this we can able to use like an how might be question or a problem statement. Next one, limited user involvement. So here if you want to brief the problem, so second criteria is called as a limited user involvement. So here is used not involving the real users or relying on an assumption. So here without involving the real users we cannot able to do for an assumptions process. So if it might be impact in giving the solutions that don't address an actual user pain points. So here if we are going for an assumptions process, it cannot be able to give the resolutions of the what is the real problem of the user, so that it may have not be usually address the users pain points. So next one, solution, prioritize and deep user research and feed loops throughout and all the stages. So here we need to give an do an real-time researchers, users researchers, and we have to get a feedback loops. So repeatedly after completing a certain stages, we need to get a feedback throughout the all the stages, so that we can be able to be avoid in the if there is any misunderstanding or failures in the earlier stage. Next one, lack of a cross-functional collaboration. So here, if we are failed to have with the input starts with the peoples which we are working, so it might be it leads without having an input from a diverse perspective. So here, if you want to consider diverse perspectives, means it may covers under an design, engineering and business. So what will be the impact of this process issues means, so it may be innovations is a stifled, and it may be an unfeasibility as an viability by might be ignored. So without having a proper functional collaborations, so it may be leads to some of the issues like a stifled and an unfeasibility or a viability. So this may be an ignored. So for this we can able to give the solutions involve stakeholders from multiple disciplines yearly and in continuously. So here the stakeholders we need to, so the stakeholders from different multiple disciplines surely they have to be continued with this process to give the proper solutions for this problem. So next one we can able to see with the time and resource constraints. So here if you want to know about this issues means design thinking can be time intensive and organizations may rush through phases. So here if we are dealing with the process, we may have a different number of organizations that might be having different phases to be solved and giving the solutions. So this for this an impact will be superficial and research, weak ideations and poor prototyping. So here if you want to do the briefing the problem, that might be so we need to give a good research, and this might be having a problem of giving an weak ideations, and finally it can be result in a poor prototyping. So for this we can able to give the solutions as an adopt the process to fit a project scope, but don't skip an critical stage. So here we can able to consider what are the informations or process which will be fit for the project scope, and it will not be, so that we cannot able to skip the critical stage. All the informations or all the steps we need to follow. So use the lean or an agile approaches where it is needed. So next one, resistance to an iterations. So resistance to the iterations means, so here the issues will be identified or addressed by the team may avoid and reworking ideas or an testing assumptions. So by having an resistance to an iterations, so we can able to avoid and so doing the same work again and again, so or an ideas, or we can able to avoid the testing and assumption processes. So for this the impact will be an limits learning, flogged solutions go to the market. So by having this process issues, we can able to have may leads to having only a limited learning, so flogged solutions to the market. So by having this we can able to give the fake or an unwanted or unclear or clarified solutions will be go to the market. So for that, how can we able to give the solutions means embrace a mindset of an experimentations and learning from the failures. So once we are having a project, so if we are attempting and failures, so from the failures we can able to learn, and what will be the information where you can able to give to the next process. Next one, misalignment with the business goals. So here, if you are not understanding the proper information or a proper problem, it may lead to a misaligning with the business goals. So for this issues will be the solutions may be desirable to users but are not viable or aligned with the strategy. So here if you are not understanding the solutions, it might be leads to a viable or aligned with the strategies. So for this impact will be projects may fail to get a buy-in or long-term support. So if you are not understanding the project and properly, so it may have a failures, so we cannot be able to go for a long-term support. So for this we can able to give the solutions as a use the desirability, feasibility, viability framework, no balance user needs with the business reality. So here in order to give the solutions for this misalignment with the business goal, we can able to go with the desirability, feasibility or viability process. Next one, over emphasizes on and creativity over execution. So here the issues will be ideas will be generated but not properly tested or implemented. So by analyzing all the types of a problem, we can able to give the solutions, but it will not be properly if it is not tested or implemented, it will be the issues. So for this, we can able to give the impact as an innovations remains theoretically or not practically. So here the solutions will be given only a theoretical process, so it is not practically tested will be the impact. So for this, we can able to give the solutions as a ensure a clear pathway from an prototype or implementations, so with an accountability. So here we need to have to clearly define, so what will be the prototype we need to implement. So by implementing this prototype, how can we able to get the informations where with the accountability process. Next one, characteristics. So characteristics of a good problem brief means, so first one, we need to have a user center. For that, we need to focus on the people, not on technology first. So for who we are giving the solutions will be the focusing process. So it is not to be focused on what technology we are using first. Next one, it should be an clear and concise. Next one, it should be an actionable, leads to design opportunity. So here we need to give an what are the informations where we can able to give a designing opportunities for a correct problem. So let us see the mind map. So for this achieving an impactful design, so first we need to identify the issues, we need to define the problem, and we need to refine the problem, and we need to generate the solutions, and we need to achieve an impactful design. Thank you one and all. Thank you.